You feel something for someone, and it's not just a small crush. It lingers. It keeps showing up in your thoughts, sometimes in your dreams, sometimes even in your du'as. And you start to wonder, is this from Allah, or is this just me getting caught up in emotion? Because when your heart desires someone, it's not always easy to tell where the feeling is coming from. Is it love? Is it a test? Is it a sign? Or is it just a trick from your nafs, dressing up attraction as destiny? Let's be real. In today's world where halal love is romanticized and follow your heart is everywhere, many fall into haram without even realizing it, thinking it's a sign from Allah. But here's the truth. Not every feeling is from Allah, and not every desire is pure. But sometimes, yes, Allah does place love in your heart as a form of His plan. So how do you tell the difference? That's exactly what we'll explore in this video. The 4 clear signs that your feelings for someone might actually be a mercy from Allah, and not just a moment of distraction from your own nafs. Watch till the end, because many people make life-changing mistakes when they chase love blindly. But if you recognize even one of these signs, it could mean your heart is being guided, not just tempted. Sign 1. The desire makes you more connected to Allah, not further away. You think about this person, but somehow, every time they come to mind, so does your salah, so does your dua, so does the fear of Allah. You don't feel reckless or blinded. You feel cautious. You feel responsible. You want to protect this feeling, not chase it recklessly. And that alone is a powerful sign, because when a desire comes from your nafs, it usually pulls you away from Allah. You start justifying small sins. You say, "We're just talking." You delay salah thinking about their replies. You lose sleep, not to pray, but to chat. But when a desire is from Allah, it brings you closer to Him. You start watching your character more carefully. You lower your gaze, not out of shame, but out of respect. You make dua more sincerely, not for them, but for guidance. You start thinking about nikah, not flirting. You care more about becoming a better version of yourself than impressing anyone else. It's like your heart says, "Ya Allah, if this person is good for me, let me become good enough to deserve them." And that mindset, that's not from the nafs. That's a desire being purified by the remembrance of Allah. The Prophet Muhammad said, "No hearts find peace except in the remembrance of Allah." So if your feelings are leading you to more dhikr, more Quran, more caution in your behavior, that's not just love. That's a reminder that Allah is still the center of your heart, even when someone else is knocking. But if this desire is pulling you into silence with Allah, if it's making your heart restless instead of peaceful, then ask yourself sincerely, is this love from Allah, or is this lust from within? Sign 2. Allah starts changing the timing, not to confuse you, but to protect you. You felt it, didn't you? That moment where everything was going fine, until suddenly it wasn't. The conversation slowed down. The connection felt distant. Or maybe things were just about to move forward, then somehow they paused. And in that moment, you started overthinking. Did I mess up? Is it not meant to be? Why now, when I was finally sure? But what if that delay wasn't a rejection? What if it was a layer of protection? Because here's something we rarely admit. When a desire is from Allah, the path toward it often becomes slower, not faster. Why? Because Allah doesn't just give you what you want. He prepares you to receive it in the right way. Maybe He's protecting you from rushing into a relationship without the maturity you need. Maybe He's giving you space to build your iman, so that if it happens, it lasts. Maybe the other person is not ready, and if you forced it now, it would collapse before it began. You see, when something is purely from your nafs, you'll rush, you'll want it now, you'll ignore red flags, you'll compromise values. You'll call impatience passion. But when something is from Allah, you'll notice a strange calm in the delay. Not because it's easy, but because something in your heart still whispers, if this is written for me, nothing can stop it. And if it's not, even chasing it won't make it mine. And that's when your trust begins. Not in them, not in yourself, but in the one who controls hearts. The Prophet Muhammad said, "Know that what has passed you by was never going to befall you, and what has befallen you was never going to pass you by." So if things slowed down unexpectedly, if a door that looked wide open gently closed without chaos or heartbreak, don't rush to label it a loss. Maybe it's a sacred pause, because what's meant for you in Islam comes with honor, not panic. And sometimes Allah slows things down, not because He's taking it away, but because He's polishing your heart to receive it with patience and barakah. Sign 3. You've never feared losing your values for someone until this person appeared. You were always careful with your limits. You avoided unnecessary conversations. You lowered your gaze. You didn't open your heart easily. But then they came, and suddenly you started checking yourself more than ever. Not because you were weak, but because something about this person made you realize how fragile your heart actually is. You weren't planning to feel anything, but now you're making extra dua, setting tighter boundaries, even begging Allah to protect you from yourself. You're not doing this out of guilt, you're doing it out of reverence. And that shift, that deep internal caution that wasn't there before, that could be a sign that your desire for this person isn't casual. It's not just emotional, it's spiritual, and it's waking something up inside you that's making you turn back to Allah even more. Because let's be honest, desires that come from the Nafs make you reckless. You jump in, you justify sins, you say, "I'll repent later." But when the feeling is from Allah, it humbles you. You start saying, "Ya Allah, please don't let this feeling destroy my akhirah." You care more about protecting your soul than winning their heart. You're scared to cross a line, not because people will judge you, but because Allah might not be pleased with you. That kind of fear, that's not from infatuation, that's a sign of Iman, that Allah is still guarding your heart, even as you walk through the battlefield of emotions. The Prophet Muhammad said, "No man gives up something for the sake of Allah, but that Allah will replace it with something better." So if you're fighting against your desires, if you're asking Allah to make it halal or to remove it completely, and you're not playing games with your emotions or theirs, that's a sign of true taqwa. And that kind of taqwa, it's not weakness, it's the exact sign that Allah might actually be shaping this feeling into something sacred. Sign 4. You've asked Allah to remove the feeling, but He hasn't, and now it's changing you. You've made dua, "Ya Allah, if this is not good for me, take it away." You've tried to block it out. You've told yourself it's just shaitan, it's just emotions. But days passed, then weeks, then months, and the feeling stayed. But something strange happened. You didn't just stay stuck in desire. You started growing. You started praying with more presence. You started watching your speech more. You pulled back from haram. You repented for even the smallest slip. And suddenly, this feeling that you thought was just attraction became a mirror. It made you face parts of yourself you were ignoring. It made you clean your heart, your intentions, your connection with Allah. And you're still not sure why it hasn't gone away, why it keeps coming back stronger after every attempt to bury it. Maybe it's not meant to go away. Maybe it's meant to refine you. Maybe Allah placed that desire in your heart not to fulfill it right away, but to shape you through it. Because sometimes what we think is a distraction is actually the tool Allah is using to realign us. And if this desire leads you to make sincere istikhara, purify your heart, improve your character, and submit to Allah's will no matter what happens, then whether that person becomes yours or not, the desire already did its job. The Prophet said, "Be mindful of Allah, and He will guide your heart." So maybe the reason you haven't been able to shake the feeling is because Allah is still using it to guide you, not toward the person, but toward becoming the kind of person that can love for the sake of Allah, not the sake of self. My dear brothers and sisters, desiring someone isn't haram. Acting on it without limits is. And this is where most people confuse things. Love, attraction, emotion, they are part of being human. But what makes a Muslim different is how we deal with those feelings when they arrive. Because sometimes Allah does place love in your heart as a test. Other times, He places it as a blessing, and often, He places it to pull you back to Him. So ask yourself this honestly. Has this feeling made me love Allah more? Has it made me protect my dignity? Has it made me fear falling into sin? Has it made me ask Allah instead of chasing someone? If yes, then this might not just be a desire. It might be a vehicle of your transformation. But also know this. Even if it was never meant to be, even if you never end up with them in this life, you still won because you returned to Allah through it. And that kind of love, that kind of awakening is never wasted. And if your heart still aches and you're unsure what to do, then fall into sujood and say, "Ya Allah, if this person is written for me, make it easy and pure. And if they're not, remove them from my heart without pain. Replace this feeling with something better and make me fall in love with what you've written for me." If this message touched your heart in any way, comment below, "Ya Allah, purify my heart and guide my desires." Your words might be the peace someone else was looking for tonight. And if you found clarity in this reminder, liking and subscribing is free, but it helps us reach more hearts that are silently struggling with the same confusion. May Allah purify your intentions, protect your emotions, and write for you a love that brings you closer to Him in this life and the next. Ameen.